Hello and welcome to a Blu-ray update video in which I'll be showing you 16 new titles in my Masters of Cinema collection from Eureka. I have a big stack here of all sorts of films, all sorts of different films that are hopefully glaring enough that you can't see what the titles are. And I've actually arranged these in chronological order for the most part. So I was kind of hooked in by a new sale that Eureka had going. It was a crime sale. They kind of publicized it as, promoted it as. So there was a number of films in the MOC collection, and I think Eureka titles as well, which are crime movies. And they were all bundled into a sale. I'm being distracted again by the laptop recording the audio, which is just like, it's running as slow as a Windows 95 computer right now. I'm just going to hopefully trust in the fact that it's still recording audio. Okay, let's just keep going. So yeah, I have it in vague chronological order. And I bought quite a few from the crime sale. And there was also, no, I can't. Okay, so there was some audio issues. There still might be, I don't know. I don't have time to try and fix everything and then like double check everything. So fingers crossed this becomes a video, I guess. Okay, so there were titles in the crime sale from Eureka. There were two new releases, I think, in a 2 for $25 deal. No, there wasn't. No, it was two other films in a 2 for $25 deal, and I also bought two new releases at normal price because I really wanted them, and they were limited edition, and you know, I get suckered in by those things. So let's just move through chronologically. I have only seen 3 of the films of the 18 that are in this stack, 16 spine numbers. So let's get right into it. I'm really happy about the fact that there are 3 silent films, because one of my favorite things about the whole collection is the range and the kind of the breadth of the silent cinema era that are kind of in most of the early titles, and then there was a stretch there where they weren't releasing silent films, and they seem to be ramping up again, which is really great. So it's nice to kind of get new, Eureka MOC silent films. This one, I'm not even sure what it is. I've been looking at the back cover and I don't know exactly what it is, but it looks stunning from the poster, which obviously is not indicative of the film at all. But this is spine number 210 from 1926, The Holy Mountain. So this is, I don't know if it's directed by, no, it's from Leni Riefenstahl. I don't know what her involvement is, because it kind of, German filmmaker Arnold Fanck made this beautifully photographed film, a mountain film, in 1926. What's great about this is that there is a 3-hour documentary included with this release called The Wonderful, Horrible Life of Leni Riefenstahl. Now, I know her from Triumph of the Will, which is a very controversial film, of course. But undeniably, that was a gorgeously shot and made film. Context, out of the equation. So I don't know how she's involved in this. It doesn't really say definitively on the back. Is she in the film? I don't know. Maybe she stars in it. I don't know, because it says that there's a love triangle romance between Riefenstahl's young dancer and the 2 explorers she encounters. I didn't know that she was a performer in that sense, I guess. But yeah, so this from the back it looks very interesting. There's some, some tinted stuff, which is always find it intriguing when there's tinted stuff in silent films, because they're really colorful and also really evocative, usually depending on what the visuals are. And actually some of that stuff looks very silhouette-y and reminds me of the work of Lotte Reiniger, who did the incredible Adventures of Prince Ahmed, which is the first feature-length animated film that has survived, and one of my all-time favorite silent films. Anyway, The Holy Mountain. But that 3-hour documentary, I mean, that's an incredible extra to have. And there's also an audio commentary, and it comes from a 2K digital restoration. So let me just chuck this over here on the side. Next up, we have a really nice looking, I just like the look of the back of this, the way they've used the text and stuff, which is a very superficial thing, but there we go. This is spine number 220, and the film is from 1926, The Son of the Sheik. Now, and this stars Rudolph Valentino, who I've yet to see in a film. I know he was quite a prominent figure in Hollywood in the silent era, and I used to know a guy on YouTube. He doesn't make videos anymore, but I found his channel through, he made some videos about The Burbs, which is one of my favorite films. But then he's also super interested in Rudolph Valentino to the point where he's visited his grave and stuff, and he actually has a physical resemblance to him himself as well, which is undeniable actually, and he feels like a connection to him. That's really interesting to me, because you know, that was just like a really random connection that came out of this guy who was making videos about the Burbs and Spielberg movies, and then suddenly there's this like silent film connection, which really surprised me and has always made me extra intrigued to check out a Rudolph Valentino film. So this is a fairly short film, only 70 minutes long. There's a video essay and an introduction to the film by Orson Welles. But this is a sequel to The Sheik. So, yeah, it says perhaps the finest performance of Rudolph Valentino's career. Unfortunately, I'll leave that in for free, it would be his last. He died suddenly at the age of 31, just days before the film's release. I was aware of his early death, but I wasn't aware it was so close to the release of this film, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, definitely one to check out when I'm on a silent film binge, which I'm feeling is really on the cusp. I really need to get back to silent films and do a deep dive on the many that I own in my collection now that I haven't seen. And this is a big one, actually, the next one, the last silent film of this update. This is Spine number 236, and it's a film I've wanted to see for many years, and I have been consciously waiting for Blu-ray release. I think there is one in America, but I wasn't consciously thinking about MOC, but I was just so happy when I saw that they were releasing this. It is The Man Who Laughs. Now, obviously, this is a film that many people are drawn to because of the visual of, what's his name? I know his name. It's in my head somewhere. I just can't access it. Conrad Veidt. You know, the kind of visage of him with the teeth and the Joker-esque appearance, which is apparently an inspiration to the character of the Joker in terms of it even says on the back cover here. They couldn't not even mention it on the back cover. The startling makeup on Veidt was the acknowledged direct inspiration for the Joker in the 1940 Batman comic that introduced the character, and the film versions of the Joker have been even more specific in their references to this film. So, who directed this one? I don't think it says immediately on the back here. Paul Lenny. Okay. German expressionist director. Is this no, it's not German. It's a Hollywood film, right? 1928. Yeah, so man, there was so many German directors coming to Hollywood in the silent era, which is really interesting. This was sourced from a 4K restoration. It has a movie tone score. Interesting. So we essentially have the sound version of the film, or maybe not, because movie tone I think was mixing in sound effects and it wasn't fully sound. I mean, they were really on the cusp in 27, 28 of adding in bits of sounds and stuff before it really started to take off. Obviously, the Jazz Singer in 27 was the first sound film, but you know, they were very much experimenting throughout 27, 28, and 29, and many films were released with silent versions and sound versions or partial sound versions. A video essay is on this as well. 2 video essays, some still galleries, 3 video essays actually. No, 2 video essays and 1 interview with Kim Newman on the director. Now I want to take off the packaging here because the artwork is different on the inside, and I think it's a really nice one. So let me just bear with me a second while I try and open this. But yeah, this is one I have to see as a silent film fan because it's quite a famous one. But you know, again, I was really kind of consciously waiting for a nice Blu-ray release of it before buying a DVD or watching it in standard definition. I'm not sure if it's in the 1001 Movies book, but let's take off the slipcover. Yeah, this is like a really nice alternate artwork here. Really, really nice. Love that. And I'm sure there's probably in the booklet somewhere like the classic black and white image of him in the movie, because that's like the one that you kind of see a lot. And I'm assuming they oh, this is nice. The booklet is laid out really nicely, actually. I like the feel of that. It feels like something you'd see in the 20s, perhaps. It has that kind of old-timey feel to the way everything is laid out. No, it doesn't, actually. That's like the famous black and white image of his face with the big smile. I would have expected that to be... Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, they have included it. That's like the main image, I think. Like, it's really unsettling. So, can't wait to watch this eventually and get into it when the moment is right. And I like that they included alternate artwork on the inside. I just have seen now that it's actually a reversible sleeve, so you can have this artwork as well if you want it on the main case. But I usually like to have, if there's an alternate, to switch it around for the main case, so you have both whenever you take off the slipcover. And I was just talking about the text on the back of Son of the Sheik. I just like the font and the way that it sits with the black and white. So that's the silent stuff. Next we have another limited edition set. And I actually have seen one of these films. So this is me see if I can like even remember the title here. This is Bela Lugosi in the adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's Murders in the Rue Morgue, The Black Cat, and The Raven, 3 Universal Pictures. So, you know, rolls off the tongue. So this is 3 kind of classic spooky horror films, I'm assuming, because The Black Cat is certainly that. And I've seen The Black Cat, and that was a pre-code film, right? I'm really bad with like 30s movies. That's like my main blind spot in terms of knowledge and films that I've seen. Okay, yeah, 3 pre-code chillers. And that's a good way to put films like this. Instead of being horror films, chillers. I like that. That's an interesting way to spell it out. So there's loads of extras on this. We have an audio commentary on, I think, all 3 films. Yes. By various, I'm assuming, critics and scholars. 4 audio commentaries, actually. Another interview with Kim Newman, a video essay, another video essay, a radio episode starring Peter Lorre, another radio episode with Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi really reading The Telltale Heart, that's awesome, vintage footage from the original promotional campaign for The Black Cat, stills galleries and a booklet, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I've seen The Black Cat, and that's the one with Boris Karloff, and I really like that, and I'm not sure if the artwork is different on the inside of this one, but I can't see myself watching these anytime soon. It's not like my favorite kind of film, but I couldn't miss out on this with the nice slipcover and everything because, you know, this is what it is. And, you know, you get 3 films. It's good value, I think, for the money that I paid for it. And I do like The Black Cat. There's some really stark imagery in that I really liked. And what's good about that is that there's the sound is completely broken on the laptop. I'll assume that it's still going. This is a real problem. I don't know how I'm going to do videos when I can't see if the audio is being recorded at all. I could be sat here for 20-30 minutes doing a video and have no audio to speak for at the end of it. I have no clue. Absolutely no clue at this point. So, man, it's really lagging. And I can't get this for the life of me. It's absolutely impossible. You know, you're trying to open something neatly. You know, you're trying to open something neatly. Everything goes wrong. And it just will not come off. Everything goes wrong, and it just will not come off. Everything's going wrong. It's all going pear-shaped. And the audio is fucked, I think. I don't know. Okay, so I should probably go and like get some industrial, like, I don't know, scissors, a saw maybe, like something, maybe a blowtorch to get this cellophane off, or I can just pull it as hard as I possibly can. And there we go. And if there were sound problems before, there's certainly sound problems now with that. Alright, the slipcover is off. And the cellophane. Yes, whoa, we do have a really intriguing... Oh, I like that. I really like that. So this is the front cover. Really creepy. And then we got actually Bela Lugosi and Karloff there on the back. With all the credits of the films. And a nice thick booklet. Oh yeah, that's a really nice image from The Black Cat. I really like that one. And then inside we have 2 discs and another alternate artwork there. This is one for The Black Cat, and I'm assuming there's another one on the other side if you want to kind of display the other film. Yeah, The Raven. So really cool. I love that. I might actually switch that one out because that one's stunning. Boris Karloff and Bela Dracula Lugosi, as he's credited on the poster. I wonder how, you know, I don't know how he felt about that. That really followed him, I guess. I don't know if, I mean, it maybe gave him his career. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. I know he's a very interesting character, but I don't know too much about him beyond, like, Ed Wood, you know, which is great. But, yeah, really, really cool. I do like The Black Cat quite a bit. Like I said, it's a stark imagery. I was distracted by the audio. But like imagery that I think is really going to pop on Blu-ray, because I watched it on like a standard definition copy. So to have The Black Cat on Blu-ray is something I know I'm going to enjoy. So Murders on the Rue Morgue and The Raven are films I'm sure I'm going to get something out of. And I really do like Bela Lugosi. He's just one of those unique guys from, you know, from Hollywood who just had a really interesting career based on a very strange kind of style of acting, I guess. I don't know, there's just something about it. The films I've seen him in, he has this captivating presence to him that you can't quite put your finger on, and it's kind of uniquely and wholly his, you know. So that's always interesting. Anyway, moving on. I now have 3 films from Fritz Lang, And it's a period of Fritz Lang's career which I am fairly dark on. I think I've seen The Big Heat. This is his like film noir Hollywood, 40s period in which I've seen very little. His silent era I'm very familiar with, quite knowledgeable on, but moving past that, it's really not that familiar to me. Like I said, so spine number 204 we have from 1944, The Woman in the Window. Spine number 205 from 1946, we have Cloak and Dagger. And then finally, spine number 197 from 1954, we have Human Desire. And I'm not sure if this was his last film. I think I have his last film somewhere. I'm not sure if it's this one. No, they don't seem to say it on the back, but I have quite a few. The Ministry of Fear is another one I have on Criterion somewhere. But yeah, so 3 Fritz Lang film noir movies that I'm very looking forward to checking out and kind of expanding my knowledge on his entire filmography. Because again, it's a really interesting career. I think if you just look at what he did from like 1920 to 1931, 33, that's like a Hall of Fame career right there. So I'm intrigued to see if anything he did beyond that. Oh, The Thousand Eyes of Dr. Mabuse, that's his final film, and I bought that recently in the MOC collection. So Woman in the Window, what do we have here? We have video essay, an audio commentary, and a trailer. For Cloak and Dagger, we have an audio commentary, a video essay, and a radio adaptation of Cloak and Dagger, and the complete radio series that is 660 minutes long. Holy shit, that's one hell of an extra. And then finally, with Human Desire, we have an interview with Tony Raines, and that's it. So a fairly light release. I like how on the back of Human Desire they have the a Fritz Lang film in kind of the font they use on some of the silent releases, which they haven't included on the other ones. So this was Spine 197. So it seems like they've actually gone back on. I don't know if this is a new thing actually. I think, yeah, it might be like a after Spine 200, because they used to have the film title, the director, like a so-and-so film, and then a little blurb or a tagline or something like that by there. And then recent releases have had just like the film's title on the back. So I don't know. Let's take a look. What we got here? Spine number 126, and that's the regular. Yeah, I think that's kind of a new thing they've done since Spine number 200, perhaps, to maybe mark a change, I don't know. So next up we have another film noir, which I have seen many years ago with my mum. She really liked this film, and so she showed it to me many years ago. From 1944, filmed by Otto Preminger. Spine number 126, Laura. And all I think of when I think of that name now is Laura Palmer. I just see like Leland, like, find Laura. So I can't not think about that. That name is so associated with Twin Peaks for me now. So Gene Tierney and Dana Andrews. I only remember that Vincent Price is in this, unless I'm thinking of a completely different film. Nope, yeah, Vincent Price is in this. Yeah, this is a really good little film noir. I don't know if you call it film noir. I mean, from memory, and it's tricky how you really classify it. It says film noir on the back, I guess, but oh, this one has a lot of extras. So we have an audio commentary, 2 audio commentaries, 2 radio adaptations that are an hour long each, a radio anthology series, a lot of radio stuff actually. Another radio edit. There's all sorts of radio shit going on with this, and an 2 archival interviews, an archival featurette, a deleted scene, all sorts of stuff on this one. But I enjoyed this very much. It's not a film that I loved and thought, wow, I have to watch it again, but I will enjoy returning to that. Maybe I'll even go and watch it with my mum again. It's been many years, and I'm sure she'd like watching it again. But it's a good little film noir. I really enjoyed the story, and it was fun to see Vincent Price, much younger than I'm accustomed to seeing him in films, and I really liked it. So, and it's been long enough that I don't remember all the details either, so it'll be fun to revisit that one. Next, we have Spine number 191, filmed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz. This is No Way Out, which just makes me think about the wrestling pay-per-view No Way Out. So I don't know too much about this one, actually. Pivotal early film in the wave of racially progressive dramas of the 50s and 60s. This is a 1950 film. An electrifying film, I didn't know it was film noir, about a doctor whose ethics are put to the test when he comes into conflict with a racist criminal. Intriguing. So, yeah. Oh, we have Sidney Poitier. I did not know he was in this film, actually, even though it's right there on the front cover. See, I should mention that a lot of these I kind of grabbed in the crime sale because I didn't have them in my MOC collection, but also there were some fairly cheap ones on Amazon. So really, it is about filling up the collection, but I enjoy being surprised by, oh, it's one of those films. Oh, he's a, that's part of the fun for me, kind of, with collecting these titles. And so, yeah, what extras do we have here? We have a massive 2-part interview with Mankiewicz himself, which is 103 minutes long, newsreels about the movie, and a commentary by film historian, and an original theatrical trailer. So there's some pretty good stuff on this. I'm kind of distracted because it seems like the inlay has a lot of like yellow discoloration on the top. I'm just going to quickly check that because me being me, I know it's quite a drag, but it's kind of all around the edges of everything. I don't know if it's like okay, I see what it is. It's not yellowing because it's like I guess you see that effect on things that have been like, the old Super Nintendos would kind of discolor and turn yellow over the decades. But I think the reason that there's yellowing on the edges is because there is a second piece of artwork on the inside which is yellow. So you're kind of seeing that around the rim. So that's okay. At least I know it's not, a weird printing, malfunction or something. Anyway, No Way Out. Next up we have Spy Number 167. This is filmed by Louis Buñuel, who I might not pronounce that correctly, but it is what it is. Who I have a very interesting relationship with as far as my opinion on his films. Not a fan, but I've only seen his very early stuff. So I've seen Age of Gold, which no, I didn't get on with that film at all. I might be open to revisiting it at some point, and then also the big one is Un Chien Andalou, which is a silent classic that I didn't think was all that great, and I had a lot of comments when I talked about those films telling me how wrong I was and how I should watch his other films and all this kind. I think there's another one, Land Without Bread. Am I making that up or something? That's maybe a different filmmaker. Anyway. So this one is Death in the Garden, which people really big this film up. I've heard a lot of talk about this on the Blu-ray forums, so that's intrigued me. I think it's like it's kind of out in the wilderness kind of movie, and this is from 1956. This is like decades after the films that I've seen from Buñuel, so I am intrigued. I definitely have not given up on him, and I would even revisit those early films to see where I was wrong perhaps. But yeah, Death in the Garden. This one comes with a new interview with Tony Raines, another interview with an actor, Michael Piccoli. Don't know if he was in the film. Yes, he was. He played a priest in the movie. And an interview with the film scholar and the MOC trailer that was produced for the release of this. So, interesting stuff. Moving on, trying to rattle through this a little bit more quickly. Spy Number 194 from 1957. This is a Billy Wilder movie. There's actually 2 Billy Wilder movies in this update. This one is Witness for the Prosecution. So what really drew me in about this, just from a cursory glance at who was involved, was Marlene Dietrich and Charles Lawton as well. But Dietrich, I mean, she's just incredible, like such an amazing screen presence. So that alone kind of sold me on the movie. But did I say 1950 or 1957? This is from 1957. But new audio commentary. We have I don't know what that is. I guess it's Simon Callow on Charles Lawton in Billy Wilder's Witness for the Prosecution. I don't know if that's it must be a featurette that he made. I don't know. A new video interview with film scholar, archival footage of Billy Wilder discussing the film, and a booklet. And the second Billy Wilder film is from 1961, and it is Spy Number 199, and this is 123. This did come with a slipcover, and Amazon did advertise it with the slipcover, but it did not arrive with the slipcover. I emailed Eureka asking them if they had a copy of the slipcover. They told me they did not have a copy of the slipcover, and they would contact Amazon to remove the image of this title with the slipcover. Slipcover. Alright, so this one looks fairly light in terms of extras. There's an interview with a film scholar, an audio commentary, and that's about it. And this one, again, has this kind of yellow discoloring around. Maybe it is actual discoloring. I don't know. Now I need to check again and see if it's the same thing. It can't be another case of a bold yellow inside reversible sleeve. Surely not. No, it's not. So that's intriguing. I like that booklet. That's kind of cool. Though there is a heavily tinted inside artwork. Maybe that's where yeah, but it's just weird. There's like a color bleed around the very edges of the... And with the white, it kind of looks very... I don't think that's white. That's kind of more cream. I'm a bit, color and shade blind. James Cagney in this one. That's interesting. Anyway, don't know anything about it. Billy Wilder, definitely worth watching regardless. Moving on, we have 4 more left, and 2 which I have seen and have thoughts on. Spy number 201. Oh, so it wasn't after Spine 200. This one has the usual layout on the top. So this is Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte from 1964 by Robert Aldrich. Did he do Flight of the Phoenix? I feel like that's the case. I don't know. Bette Davis, Olivia de Havilland. That is a cast. Just those 2 names alone is very intriguing to me. And I think this was kind of like an informal follow-up to Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. So, yeah. This received 7 Academy Award nominations. Intriguing, yeah. I've heard bits and pieces about Bette Davis's career at this point, and so that intrigues me, especially with this one. I don't know whether I should see Whatever Happened to Baby Jane first, but Olivia de Havilland is just, she was incredible. And her sister, both brilliant in different ways. And in similar ways, I suppose. This one has an audio commentary, 2 audio commentaries, in fact. The making of the film, 22 minutes. Bruce Dern Remembers. All right, was he in this movie? He isn't listed on the back. But there's an interview with him, nevertheless. And an archival behind-the-scenes look at the film. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to break with continuity here, because there's a film from the 60s and the 80s, which I have seen. And we'll jump ahead to the last one, which is from 2018, I think. Yes, this was released in 2018. It is Spine number 202, and it is Showa, The Four Sisters. This was kind of a final follow-up to Cloud Landsman's Showa project, which spawned many movies, actually, the work that he did. Interviewing many people who were involved with or were affected by the Holocaust. I haven't seen Showa yet. I did try to start watching it very recently. But this one, I had to get this, obviously, because I collect all of them, but, I feel like it's such an important document, and this seems to be his kind of last stamp. He actually died just as this film was released, I think. Yeah, released in theaters the day before his death in 2018. So this basically collects 4 interviews from the original, interviews that he did while he was making Showa in the I think the late 70s and early 80s. I think he made the bulk of it in the early 80s, but I think he started interviewing people in the late 70s, if I'm remembering correctly. So filmed by Landsman during the preparation of what would become Showa, each of these 4 extraordinary women deserved a film in their own right, to fully illustrate their exceptional fiber and to reveal their gripping accounts, 4 little-known chapters of the extermination. So this is 4 hours long, and I believe it was shown on TV as well in 4 episodes, with each woman getting kind of the, there's a director's statement from Landsman in the booklet, but there are no actual extras. But so the Four Sisters Showa, it's important stuff. And finally, we have 2 that I have seen and have watched in the past week or so, which I will be doing separate videos on, which I say a lot, but I really will. The first is Spine number 126, The Naked Prey, a film by and starring Cornel Wilde. This is about a kind of safari leader in Africa in the 1800s who's leading a safari, and the crew walks through this tribe, through an area that a tribe is inhabiting, and the tribe is saying, you need to give us a gift. And the man who kind of has got the money in the safari says, well, fuck them. I'm not giving them any money. And, Cornel Wilde's character, who doesn't have a name, he's just called Man, he's like, no, it's customary. It's going to save us a lot of trouble. Let's just give them something and we'll pass through quietly and peacefully. And the other man's like, nope, screw it. They just walk past them. And hell ensues from there. This is a brutal movie, and the majority of it is Cornel Wilde out in the wilderness of Africa running for his life. They set him off, they give him like a 30-second head start, these tribes people, and they just chase him down to kill him. And so he's on the run for the whole movie. There's probably about a good 45-minute stretch of the film where there's no English dialogue at all, and he doesn't say anything. It's just all in the facial expressions and the actions of what he's doing. and you have the African tribe who are kind of chasing him down, trying to kill him, and they're speaking in their own language. He doesn't subtitle that, and so you feel as lost as he is at times, even though he speaks quite a few African languages. He doesn't. I think there's one that he doesn't speak. But anyway, I have a lot to say about this film. There's a lot good in it. There's a few things quite bad about it, but overall it was a very worthwhile watch. And I did watch the interview on the disc with film historian Sheldon Hall, which was fascinating because I finished the film and thought, fuck, I want to know more about this. Went on IMDb, the trivia yielded very little. And there's like a 30-minute interview on here by a film historian who basically just lays out a lot of information, which is, you know, fantastic. Like, it really gave me so much context for how this film was made and how it, you know, had a lot of problems. You know, that Cornell was a big actor in the 40s, I think. And he moved into directing in the 50s. And then this was like his pet project, 1965 this came out. And he didn't prepare very well for this at all. His previous film had been a bomb. So he convinced the kind of finances that this was going to be a really low budget kind of production. He had everything under control, filming it in Africa, really cheap. And he really prepared nothing. But he got very ill multiple times while making the film, which kind of allowed for the producers to kind of figure things out. But it's a very... I don't know, it's hard to describe it because there are great moments in it and there are really bad moments in it. I don't know how I fully feel about it, so look forward to the video on that when and as it comes. And finally, Spine number 132 from 1983, the Eureka release of Eureka. So I was really intrigued by this one, even when they first announced it, and it just never seemed to go for a good price. Saw it on Amazon for like £10. I thought, let's just buy it and watch it because I really want to see it. And I didn't know too much about it, but the cast alone. We have Gene Hackman, we have Rutger Hauer, we have Mickey Rourke, we have Joe Pesci, and it's like, what a cast. I need to watch this. So this is a film about a man who is out in the wilderness, in a snowy wilderness. I don't know where it is exactly, Alaska maybe. He's out in this very desolate landscape, and he's looking for gold, basically. In the opening 20 minutes of this film, again, I'll do a separate video on this, jaw-dropping, like, cinematic poetry in the first 20 minutes of this film. Just breathtaking stuff, violent stuff, mesmerizing, and then it completely changes into a different movie, and there's a time jump, and it was not what I was expecting at all, and it was really watchable. I was really intrigued by what was going to go on. There's some brilliant lines in there. I'm trying to think if I can remember the one. Okay, so he doesn't end up finding the gold at the beginning of the movie, and the majority of the movie is about him dealing with the fact that he has all this money. There's an amazing line in this film when he's lying in bed and he's just not happy, you know, and his wife says, "What's the problem?" And he just says something to the effect of, "I used to have it all, but now I have everything." And it was like, oof, like that was just such a great line for the character and for the story. And then it changes again. And I will say there is a scene in this film that is revolves around a murder that is one of the most chilling murder scenes I've ever seen in a film. Absolutely haunting, more scary to me than almost any horror film. This is a really intriguing film that I'm looking forward to talking about in more depth at a later date. That is about it. Thank you for watching. That was a very long video. I apologize, but we got through it. And oh, the extras on this one, actually, I should say. And the Naked Prey just had one interview with the film historian, which was more than enough for me because it provided a lot of context. So Eureka has an audio recording of the Q&A with Nicholas Roeg, who is the director of the film, new interviews with the producer, the writer, and the editor, and an isolated music and effects track, and an original trailer. So there we go. That is it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.